Back now, and I'm so glad we're talking about this. A lot of questions about what you need to know about food dye safety.
West Virginia just joined a growing list of states banning some food dyes, and now one major food company says they're reformulating some of their products to move away from food dyes. Our medical correspondent, Dr. Darien Sutton, joining us now with what you need to know on this topic.
Yeah, well, this is beginning to get, and already is honestly, a more and more popular topic to discuss. Even patients, when they're leaving the emergency rooms, it's the common question of, hey doc, can I ask you a question about food dye?
Well, there's a lot of confusion and misinformation out there, so I'm really glad that we're doing this. And there's dye in almost everything: candy, sports drinks, medicines. What are the concerns? Where do we really need to be careful?
You're right, they are in a lot. 1 in 10 products from a recent Wall Street Journal analysis found that food dyes were in these products. 40% of these
why
products.
Why do we need to have the dye at all?
That's a great question, and a lot of the concern, Lara, is based off of older studies that have shown that food dye at high levels in animal studies was associated with cancer. Now, it's important to understand that the FDA has maintained that that association is not seen in humans, but I think even more of a broader, more popular topic is the concern for ADHD behavioral issues.
Sure.
There have been other studies that have shown, albeit they are smaller and they are mixed in terms of their results, that there have been some findings of food dye and an association with behavioral changes. Now, it's so difficult to parse out the cause, given, as we all know, there are many other reasons. For example, more awareness and just simply more access to a diagnosis.
But if you don't need them, why do we have them?
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's something all the toddler moms are talking about.
Sure.
Because the kids like the red candy, and the red dye is one of the ones that they're most concerned about. This is a big issue for the Health and Human Services Secretary, RFK Jr. What's his plan with this?
So we've already began this plan. In January, it was implemented that the red dye number 3, one of the most popular ones, is going to be banned. We can expect to see that roll out in 2027 and for drug manufacturers in 2028. Now, we've already seen, for example, states like California, West Virginia implementing these bans. And to be honest, we'll likely see more states consider similar legislation.
You know, you just said something that I think parents say all the time. Well, she likes the orange candy. No, I promise you, she'll eat the candy. There's no, or he'll eat the candy. It doesn't have to be orange. They like candy. Now, we've got Easter coming up, and we use dyes a lot, particularly for the egg coloring and everything else. So how can families get out of that?
Make it a team effort. Eve and I have talked about this. Teaching children how to read labels, for example. That makes them more of a savvy consumer. Also getting creative. You know, we have these food dyes available, but they're already food dyes that we can use in our kitchen. For example, when you're painting those eggs, you can use simple products like coffee, red beets, red cabbage. And for those pastries, strawberries, blueberries, it might not look the same. It'll still taste great, and as toddlers care about, it'll still make a mess.
Red beets on their own game.
Exactly right.
Dye anyway. Dr. Darien, thank you so much. You make us smarter every day, and that's a conversation that's far from over. We're glad to have it. Thank you for being here.